are the top problem sleuth in the city. On the other end is a very frantic dame who informs you that she and Broad have been kidnapped. This has got the crew written all over it. There, is this a stinking invite? He says you better have a damn good reason for showing up here, Flatfoot. Diamond's Droog wants to know why, after last week's debacle, you think they would even dream of going near those dames again. Your attempt was a crushing failure. You are now Spade Slick. Go fuck yourself. You ain't never met a dame who calls herself Snowman, and if you did, you bet she'd be a total dog. You mean really? What kind of name is that? Or hey, how about you do something that isn't completely stupid? You stare at the card, grumbling. Droog asks if you're gonna keep seething or if you're gonna finish setting up. You say something ain't right. He says damn right there isn't because you sure as hell didn't pull a heist last night. Or all week for that matter. Someone's trying to frame us, he says. You say yeah, but that ain't it. There's something else here. The whole damn thing's out of place. This ain't one of your cards, and Sleuth's an idiot for thinking it is. Looks like someone just got some random deck of cards out of the bargain bin and started handing them out. You'll fire that bouncer for thinking this is one of yours. Hold on, you notice something. You tell Droog to smell it. Droog says no, get that thing out of his face. He's not going to smell anything that's been in that swine's coat. You say stop being a wuss and smell it already. He says fine. You say and? He says it smells like ink. Like shadow magic. This is bullshit. Some jackass is out there flinging shadow magic around like he owns the place. Doesn't he know who really owns this city? It's you. You own this city. Well, if he keeps dropping cards around his crime scenes, that ain't gonna be true for long. You'll end up getting locked up for crimes you didn't even do. After all, why would the cops believe it wasn't you? It was some other card-toting shadow magic user. That ain't gonna fly and you know it. You ain't gonna take this laying down. This is no time for music. The only acceptable course of action is to go hunt this guy down and show him your stabs. Boxcars walks back from talking with the bouncer. He's got a piece of paper in his hand. He says you're going to want to take a look at this. You are now problem sleuth. You and the team have decided to snoop around Damon Broad's apartment, seeing as how they were probably lifted from there and all. You open the door. This place is a mess. Random items are littered about the room, and there's ink everywhere. Someone was wielding shadow magic, and it must have been one hell of a fight. Your girls do not surrender. Ace says, aha, so it was the crew after all. Pickle says, no, it must have been someone else with shadow magic. You wonder who else could possibly have shadow magic. That shit's all dark forces and packed with Cthulhu. Pickle says, yes, but we already know it wasn't the crew. Ace says, no, we don't know that. You say shut up to the both of them. You're sure there's got to be a clue or two around here. You found a nickel! Pickle gets angry and tells you to put it back. Don't you know it's rude to go through a woman's couch cushions? It's Broad's knife. Next to it is Dame's chainsaw. Wherever they are now, they're not armed. It's a note from the kidnapper. It spends several lines gloating about having kidnapped the girls, and then tells you to show up at the docks at midnight. Now you know where you've got to go next, but you still don't know who's behind this crime. Something else is bothering you about this note too. You can't put your finger on it. He says it smells like ink, just like everything else in this apartment, because everything is covered in ink. Yeah, the smell isn't really what's bothering you anyway. Pickle says he recognizes the handwriting. It's yours. You say that's crazy. You've been in your office all day and you'd never kidnap anyone. He says he knows, but that's most definitely your handwriting. This is bullshit! Some asshole just copied your handwriting, and for what? Who even does that? Is he going around signing your name on shit too? Why? What is this guy's problem? You are gonna sleuth the fuck out of this. Well, midnight is still a while away, so you sort of leisurely saunter over to the docks. You wait there for hours, quietly talking amongst yourselves about what kind of guy you think this villain is, what he's done with the girls, and what you'll do to him once he shows up. It's a little after midnight, and you're starting to get impatient. You're beginning to wonder if you've been stood up when you hear footsteps approaching in the darkness. You draw your candy corn revolver and point it at the darkness, waiting for your villain to show himself. Ace clenches his fists, ready to tear said villain limb from limb. Pickle was drinking while you were waiting, so he is completely tanked and ready to imagine up anything you might need. Bring it on. A group of shadows appears from the darkness. It's the Midnight Crew? You can't believe this. You throw your hat down in disgust. It was them the entire time? Spade Slick sneers as he notices you. He asks what the hell you're doing here. If by that you mean get in a screaming match with him, then sure. You once again demand to know what he's done with Dame. He asks why you're still harping on about that. He already said he didn't do it. You ask then, why is he here? He says he's got other business to attend to. You know, he's kind of a busy guy with lots of places to be. After that, the argument kind of devolves into a lot of obscene name-calling. He just tells you that it's none of your business and then tells you to scram. You resume arguing with him. Seeing that this could go on for a while, Pickle takes it upon himself to show the crew the note, and politely asks if they know anything about it. Droog shows Pickle a note that the crew received after you left their club. It challenges the crew's stranglehold on the city, and dares them to come to the docks at this time. They compare the notes, and determine that they're both written on the same kind of paper in the same handwriting. They conclude that this is an obvious setup. You and Slick both express frustration and rage at this mysterious asshole for having played you like fools. Something needs to be done. What? No? That's not at all what you had in mind. You hate each other, but you hate this new guy even more. You decide to put aside your differences for exactly as long as it takes to make him pay. You were about to suggest that anyway, when you hear something. It sounds like a condescending slow clap. You hear a voice. It sounds nearby, but you can't make out where it's coming from. It sounds eerily familiar to you. The voice says he was kinda hoping you'd all kill each other, but this whole teamwork thing is kinda cute. He underestimated you. Top-notch performance, guys. Top-notch. There's a puff of purple smoke. Through the smoke you can see 3 figures. You see the face of your enemy. It is your own. Slick asks you what the hell is going on, but you don't know what to tell him. You've seen some weird puzzle shit before, but this? What the hell is this? Confused? That's alright, he says. Happens to the best of us. Allow me to introduce myself, he continues. Name's Peck and Scofflaw. These here are my buddies, Pernicious Innovator and Angry Delinquent. Pleased to meet ya. Oh, and by the way, this city, it's mine now. You tell Scofflaw to release Damon Broad this second. He says nah. They kinda remind him of some ladies he knew back home. He's sure they'll join the Twilight Scoundrels with the right motivation. Slick tells Scofflaw that he ain't gonna take this city from the crew. Scofflaw begs to differ. Scofflaw says it's been real nice talking with you boys, but he's got important crime type stuff to get to, so he's gonna have to cut this encounter short. But hey, since you entertained him so much, he'll let you live. He's a magnanimous sort after all. Having you around might make running this city a little less dull. Scofflaw tells Innovator to get you and your cohorts out of his hair. Innovator rolls his eyes, then casts some sort of spell. For a moment, it feels like you're being ripped apart. Then there's the distinct sensation of movement, but it doesn't last long. You lose consciousness.